Solutions: mixture of sugar and water, tincture of iodine, solution of iodine in alcohol, soda water, air is a homogeneous solution of various gases, and the last one is alloy, mixture of two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal which cannot be separated by physical method. For example, brass, stainless steel, etc. Brass is made up of copper and zinc. Okay, whereas stainless steel, which is made up of iron, copper and zinc. Okay, so this type of substance is called solution, which cannot be separated by any physical method. After mixing, we cannot differentiate them. Okay, now what are the properties of solution? It is a homogeneous mixture. First property, solution is a homogeneous mixture. When two substances mix together, it get completely mixed and we cannot differentiate between them. We cannot separate them by any physical process. And the size of the particles of the solution is less than or smaller than 1 nanometer. That's why we cannot see them with our naked eyes. It is particles of solution are smaller than 1 nanometer, means 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So particles of solution cannot be seen by naked eyes. And particle of solution, for example, salt and water or sugar and water, cannot be separated by simple physical method of separation. Such as by filtration, we cannot separate them because the particle of the solution is smaller than 1 nanometer. And the solute particles do not settle down when left undisturbed. While when we mix the sand and water, it does not dissolve and we can separate them by physical process, like by settling down. Particles of solute get settled down and we can easily separate them by filtration, by sedimentation. Okay, but in solution we cannot separate the solute and solvent by any physical process. So these are the properties of solution. Okay, now what is concentration of a solution? Proportion of the solute and solvent can be varied. Proportion of the solute in solution, solute and solvent are present, but the proportion of solute and solvent can be varied depending upon the amount of soluble present in a solution. It can be called a dilute or concentrated solution. So dilute and concentrated solution are a solution which contains a large amount of solute is called concentrated solution. For example, when we add higher amount of sugar in water, then it is called concentrated solution. When the solute contains a relatively large amount, when a solution contains large amount of solute, then it is called concentrated. While a solution which contains a relatively smaller amount of solute is called dilute solution. Got it? Concentrated means when the molecules or particles of solute is in larger amount present in solution. Is called concentrated. When the amount of solute is smaller, when smaller amount of solute is present, is called dilute solution. On the other hand, a solution that has dissolved as much solute it is capable of dissolving is called saturated. Here you can see if the amount of solute contained in solution is less than the saturation level, it called the unsaturated solution. Okay. Suspension. What is suspension? A suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which solute particles do not dissolve. Heterogeneous means we can easily differentiate between solute and solvent. Means when solute will not dissolve, then we can see them. So a suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which solid particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the solvent. In other words, suspension are non-homogeneous system. Okay. So a suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. And the particle of suspension are visible; they are not dissolved. That's why we can say. That's why we can see them with our naked eyes. Now, what are the properties of suspension? Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, and the particle of suspension can be seen by naked eyes because they are heterogeneous. So we can see them with our naked eyes, like salt and water. Sand in water. Particle of suspension is scattered a beam of light passing through it and makes its path visible. When we pass the light through this medium, through suspension, the particle of suspension is scattered a beam of light passing through it and makes its path visible. While in solution, there are no solute are present, so light does not pass through it. But in suspension, particle of suspension is scattered a beam of light passing through it and makes its path visible. You can easily see the path of light through it. Solid particles settle down when suspension is left undisturbed. So when suspension is left undisturbed, so after some time solid particles settle down and we can easily separate them. That is a suspension is unstable. They can be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration because particles of solute is larger enough that it can be easily separated. When the particles settle down, the suspension break and it scattered light anymore. It does not scatter light. When the particles settle down, when solute will settle down, suspension break and it does not scatter because there are no solute particles which can pass through the light. So these are the properties of suspension. For example, other examples are mixture of flour and water, mixture of chalk and water, muddy water, mixture of sand and water, paint, mixture of slaked lime, magnesium hydroxide and water, lemonade, some salad dressings such as Thousand Island, etc. These are the examples of suspension. Properties we have discussed. It is heterogeneous. Suspension mixture can be seen with naked eyes. Size of particle in suspension is more than 100 nanometer. That's why we can easily see them and separate them with filter paper by filtration. It shows Tyndall effect. That means particle of suspension scattered a beam of light passing through it. Means particle of suspension scattered a beam of light passing through it and makes its path visible. If suspension is left undisturbed, the particles settle down and it shows the suspension if unstable mixture. And the constituent particles of a suspension can be separated by filtration because the solute particles is larger. Got it? Now, colloidal solution. A homogeneous mixture. It is also a homogeneous mixture in which particles are uniformly spread throughout the solution. Is called a colloid. Okay. So particles of colloids are uniformly spread throughout the solution. But due to the smaller size of particle as compared to that of a suspension, the mixture appear to be, means colloidal substance solution is appear to be homogeneous, but actually it is a heterogeneous substance. Particle of solute is too small in size that we cannot see them with our naked eyes, but they are heterogeneous substance. Colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture but appears like homogeneous. For example, milk. In milk, fat, protein are present, but we cannot differentiate between them. Because of the small size of colloidal particles, we cannot see them with naked eyes. But these particles can easily scatter a beam of visible light. That's why, because they have solute particles, that's why solute particles does not dissolve. That's why they scattered a beam of visible light. And this scattering of beam of light is called Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect can also be observed when a fine beam of light enters a dark room through a small. Suppose there is dark room and beam of light enters a room through a small hole. This happened due to the scattering of, there are various dust particles and gases. This happened due to the scattering of light by the particle of dust, smokes in the air. This process is called Tyndall effect. Now properties. Colloid is a heterogeneous mixture but look like homogeneous. The size of particles of colloid is too small to be individually seen by naked eyes. We cannot see them. It looks like homogeneous but actually it is a heterogeneous mixture. Colloids are big enough to scatter the big beam of light passing through it and makes its path visible. They do not settle down. They always keep on moving. When left undisturbed, the colloid is quite stable. So these are different types of solution.